here's my Avata. I found it, and it does not look to be in good condition. If you own the DJI Avata, you may be like me, and this was your very first drone that you got in the FPV world. You also got the combo like I did that comes with the motion controller, because the combos only come with the motion controller. You'd have to buy the FPV controller separately. You'll find the motion controller actually wasn't too bad. There was a lot of hate when it first came out, but it turns out I kind of like it. But there's a limitation, and that's one, the full manual mode doing flips and whatnot, but also you're losing 30 miles an hour of what this drone is capable of doing. It maxes out around 60 miles per hour in manual mode, but in the sport or normal mode with the motion controller, you're only getting around 30. So I really wanted that extra speed. So that's why I bought the FPV2 remote. Now this remote was something that I knew had a lot of challenges to overcome in terms of learning it. One thing I didn't know is if you want to learn manual, you have to manipulate the controls, and it shows you how to do it. But this throttle is stuck in a position, but when you first get the drone, it only is like this. It bounces around, and in the FPV world, you want the throttle to be in a fixed position wherever you put it. So that was my first hurdle. But anyway, I spent some time in the DJI FPV simulator. It's called DJI Virtual Flight, and it was fun. It took some time to get used to it, and I figured out how to fly and maybe just kind of make sure I knew which way to put the drone, although there was a lot of challenges, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos learning FPV controls, and it doesn't have to be just in the Avata or the DJI FPV. Most setups on an FPV world in manual mode are going to have very similar controls. So once you just learn the basics, it gets a little easier, but there's still a lot to comprehend, and it takes hours in the simulator to figure out. I had about 5 or 6 hours in the simulator before I got my first flight in manual mode with this. It was a challenge, which you're gonna see in a minute. With the motion controller, I had only like 2 hours, maybe not even a full hour in the simulator before I tested it, and definitely came a lot more natural. So this thing is a challenge, especially if you've already flown Mavic drones or other kind of DJI products or regular drones. It is a totally new world. I'm going to show you my first flight, and before I do, let me show you a preview to the end of this video. You'll notice that there's a propeller missing. The arm is kind of snapped on this drone. I had some issues when I was trying to do some test flights, but I'll show you my first manual flight experience. It was not very good, but I was able to at least get the drone up in the air and move. So let me just show you my first real flight in manual mode, and you'll learn some things. But I'm gonna say one thing: no matter how much time you put in the FPV simulator, it's not gonna translate that much to the real thing. When you feel the gravity for real, totally different. Your mind acts totally different, and yeah, let's get into it. First thing you have to do is enable manual mode on the drone. Go to settings and then control, remote controller, go down to custom mode. It's under sport mode. Make sure you enable manual mode. We're gonna disable the attitude limit. Confirm. We're gonna first launch the drone just in regular normal mode, and we're gonna go ahead, get away from everything, get pretty high up. I don't have a lanyard yet. I gotta get a lanyard because I don't want to drop the controller. I kind of have a claw grip like a lot of people do. Okay, we're in manual mode. Just gonna cut the throttle. Boy, it doesn't fly like the simulator. I hear it like struggling. You see how icy it is here? That's my truck right here, and that's just all ice. It's pretty hard to do this with cold fingers, but also just overall a little bit nervous. Now the field of view is a lot wider than I was using on the simulator, so that's kind of something I gotta get used to. I'm getting stick. I just got thrown in the manual mode or normal mode. Why did that happen? My fingers are frozen. I didn't really do what I wanted it to do. You know, I have a problem with just making the drone just go forward in manual mode, and that's something that hopefully can be fixed with some practice. But especially with a really wide field of view, it just feels like it just kind of stays still or just accelerates up, even though I have the drone facing in a direction where it should go forward. So at least that's what I feel like I'm doing in the moment. All right, guys, well, I came over here to Pillar Creek. It started to rain at Pyramid Mountain. This video is not gonna end today, I'll tell you that, because it just feels so foreign to me. Let's see if it feels a little bit better right now. Let's go ahead, get everything launched, and got about 10 minutes before it really starts to get dark. So let's go ahead and get it going. Okay, there's my first flip. Let's try a front flip. Okay, that feels good. Maybe I just had to do a flip. Hey, I'm tired of the stick error. All right, let's go find the wife and dogs. One of my struggles is trying to just keep the drone steady. That's what I really like. I like the motion controller for just riding low on the horizon, because I feel like I can keep it straight. But this, I definitely have an issue. This is gonna take some practice, that's all. Like, I got the throttle up. I got a low battery, I don't have much more. Let's try this dive real quick here. Okay, still flying. Little impact, still flying. Had a little crash there, but it just bounced right off the ground. It just doesn't feel right. Like, it seems like the gimbal is not pointed in the right direction, because I swear in the simulator I finally figured out, and then this, it just feels like I'm doing it all over again. Where like, I'm trying to go up towards the trees and it's just not. I'm a little confused, and I'm just gonna look it up online about this gimbal looking the wrong way, because from what I've read, it's supposed to face straight up, and that's what it does in the simulator. But on this, it just stays neutral. But then when I pointed it straight up, it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. I work 5 days a week, so I don't have any daylight when I'm working. I only have the weekends to get footage for this drone, and if it's gonna rain and be 50-mile-an-hour winds with 70-mile-an-hour gusts, there's literally nothing I could do. So I'm just gonna keep practicing on the simulator on days like that, and I'll see you guys maybe next weekend. Hopefully we can come back, revisit this. That's pretty freaky in this area. The drone goes a lot faster than I thought. Alright, well, that's the last time I can ever do anything with this drone. Here's my Avata. I found it, and it does not look to be in good condition. Okay, something broke here. Well, I'm a little bummed out. The Avata has crashed. That's what I get for just trying to fly it when I was on my lunch break and not a full dedicated day off like I needed. So yeah, I'm a little bummed that I crashed this drone today. I was really hoping that I can spend the weekend. It's supposed to be a nice weekend and in a more open space, but I had a little bit of time on my lunch break and I'm like, you know what, let me just try it. I smashed it pretty good. I just applied for the replacement on this drone, and hopefully that'll be here by the end of next week, because I think it's actually a 3-day weekend and I would really like to get some more manual flight time. I'm gonna say that the DJI Virtual Assistant FPV is not terrible. It's pretty decent, but you can either just use your phone or the goggles. And I found a really great FPV simulator called Liftoff. You may have heard of it if you're familiar in the FPV world. It is a great game and simulator that is on Steam, and it's $20, but it's worth it because you can just kind of relax, plug the controller in, and just get some playtime in the simulator on your monitor. So that really helps. And what's messed up is as soon as I crashed this, I was like, let me do some more simulator. I got nothing else to do. Something clicked. I got a lot better. I'm not perfect, but I'm able to put the drone where I want it and close gaps and everything. The liftoff simulator is really helping me. I'll eventually try the DJI Virtual Assistant again and see if that helps. But I'm actually going to end this video here. I wanted to do something really epic in this, but that didn't happen. But don't worry guys, I live in Alaska and something epic, it will happen when I get the replacement of this drone. I invite you to subscribe to my channel and look forward to that video coming. If you want to see my initial review on this Avata, click this link right here. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.